Mr. President, and all of you who are assembled herein, I must tell you that I was down the street checking out the television set, and I saw him doing a news shot, and he opens with, he's going to MC the event for San Francisco State tonight. He's going to have the pleasure of introducing me, except that he knows I'm going to be late. He didn't think I'd hear that, and I'm not going to let him get away with it because I am not late. It is with a great degree of pleasure that I stand before you, a proud San Francisco State University graduate, 1955. So Judy is wrong. There are some people here who graduated a long time ago. My story, however, is one that I think should be the cornerstone of what this university is all about. I left a little town called Mineola, Texas. I got kicked out of school. I graduated from high school, Mineola Colored High. I got a scholarship to a place called Prairie View A&M, Agricultural and Mechanical. And I was clearly slated to be something different from what I ultimately became. I was at that school less than 2.5 or so weeks before I was sent home. I was sent home because I started to lead a protest. And you don't do that in black schools in the 1950s. My mother was so embarrassed that her son had been kicked out of college so quickly that she relented and said, okay, you can go to San Francisco, which is where I wanted to go forever. My uncle, however, was where she was sending me, and he didn't exactly have the best of reputation, and she didn't want me to be tarnished in life with him. But embarrassment exceeds everything in her world, and so I was sent here. Well, I wanted to come to San Francisco because I wanted to go to Stanford to become a math teacher. I arrived here, my uncle said, I have no idea how you get in school down there, but you can go down there and see if they'll take you. And I went down to Stanford, and lo and behold, of course it would not take me. I had not had any of the classes you needed to get into Stanford. And believe me, as they were explaining to me my shortcomings, I looked at the price, and I was very pleased that I had the shortcomings because I had no way that I had the money to get into Stanford. But the person talking to me was actually employed at San Francisco State College. It wasn't a university, it was State College. He said, you know, you're not getting into Stanford, and I can't clear you there, but I work at San Francisco State College up in the Haight, and you live near that place. I can get you into that school. They're looking for students, and they give students an opportunity even when they're as short on potential as you seem to be. Then he corrected himself. Name was Duncan Gillies. He said, I can get you into San Francisco State College. Show up tomorrow. And I said, well, tell me about the second part of this. He said, what's the second part? I said, Stanford wants a lot of money. The San Francisco State College want a lot of money. He said, they don't want any money. They want students. They want to give people the opportunity to succeed. And all I want out of you is your willingness to really work hard at it if I get you in. So show up tomorrow morning. I showed up the next day, August 4th, 1951. And sure enough, he had already taken care of whatever the paperwork was. I'm not sure there was any paperwork at the time, but he had taken care. So I may be the first affirmative action admittee ever to this university. And I must tell you, my parents didn't pay a penny to get me in. They didn't go see Mr. Singer or anybody else. They didn't have anybody to take any tests for me because there were no tests given. None whatsoever. I got in San Francisco State College, and I was expected to, in fact, do well. Otherwise, I would not be there very long. And sure enough, they had the program where they gave you your 15 units that you had to take. They didn't ask me, what do you want to be? They didn't ask me, are you here for math? They didn't ask me if you're here for engineering, you're here for science. None of that. They just said, here, these are the 15 units. I didn't know what a unit was. But San Francisco State College and all of the people that worked there was so interested. In the first 6 weeks, the exams came. I flunked every course, every single solitary course. And, well, you know, you have a language problem. Yeah, I got a language problem. I have no preparation for the language you're using. But just give me one more shot. They said, you got one more shot. Thanksgiving, you'll be out of here if you don't do better. Well, I started looking around, and I noticed that they were grading on the curve, and all you had to be was on the right side of the bell curve. I managed to get on the right side of the bell curve by the end of the first semester. And lo and behold, I became a member of the first graduating class from the new campus out near Park Merced. And it was amazing because we started going out there by bus to the science building. We'd go out there by bus for many other things. And lo and behold, the people that I met at San Francisco State College were no different than the guy who admitted me. I enrolled in the ROTC with John Burton, and he was first year at San Francisco State College. I now wonder aloud, he went to Lincoln High School. How the hell did he end up going in the same way I got in at the university? But I learned he was a basketball player, and he had gotten admitted for playing basketball. Well, you know, I was 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighed 120 pounds. No basketball player here in me. But Burton was in the line with me. We were by name right after each other in line with the ROTC, the Air ROTC. Well, I knew that that was not where I was going to ultimately go. I was not going to the Army or Air Force. I was going to do everything I can, but I needed to make sure that I got a deferment. San Francisco State gave me that guidance again. It's just amazing how much direction I got from San Francisco State and all the people that worked there. I obviously ended up in 1955 in the graduating class. I did not accept the second lieutenant bars. I went on down to Hastings, got in that school kind of the same way, and ended up, never took an exam. I have not taken an exam to enter any college. Can you imagine how wonderful that is? You're able to demonstrate your ability by performing inside of the institution rather than this phony-ass test that you somehow have to take. I didn't take any tests, none whatsoever. Now, I had a little more trouble in law school. They kind of require you to take tests. But nevertheless, San Francisco State had fully equipped me because when I turned down the bars, I knew that I was going to get tapped to be drafted immediately. But San Francisco State had already started telling me in the third year of the school, they said, well, if you're not going to be in the Air Force, maybe you should enroll in the National Guard. I enrolled in the National Guard, and I became a dental assistant in the National Guard. I have 28182117. That's my number for the badge that you hold around your neck in the National Guard. I learned how to put needles in people's arms, to people wherever they needed to be put for purposes of, can you imagine me in the world of medicine? That's crazy. But nevertheless, I got that inspiration from being a part of the innovative activities. And Chris, you didn't create innovation at San Francisco State University. It was there for all of us who needed innovation. And George and Judy, you've been so incredibly successful. I'm almost embarrassed to be on the same stage with people who got made that much, because I still work every day just to match the obligations of a big family of mine that don't work. So it's an interesting parallel, an interesting transition. But it's San Francisco State. I graduated, I have been a part of this organization, and I will be forever. There is nothing more important than the inspiration, the care, the assistance, the love, the guidance, and the opportunity that comes with being a part of San Francisco State and the San Francisco State family. So, Dr. Wong, it does not surprise me that you got $136 million. You're almost there. I'm going to send you something. Because I want to be a part of that last group. I want to be a part of that last group. I want my name somewhere there. Somewhere near George and Judy's and Chris and all the other people. That's one of the great distinctions of San Francisco State. Whatever you do to help this organization do things that were done for people like Willie Brown, you get the benefit of watching all of your resources being well spent by a collection of people who are so dedicated that they do represent a way in which all of us can achieve in life, can live better, can help other people live better. That's who San Francisco State University now really is, and I shall always be a part of this family, always committed to the idea of trying to exhibit what can happen in your life if you give San Francisco State a chance. All I am saying is, give SF State a chance. Thank you.